This is spiral number 3, modeling integer operations review worksheet answers. Essentially, it's going to go over how to model what operations with integers using counters, using a number line, and sometimes using the x and y axes. The first question asks us to model using counters, -4. So we're going to establish a key where if it's negative, -1, that'll be a filled in circle, and a positive 1 will be an open circle from here on forward. Starting with -4, so I'm going to start with 4 negatives. And it says to take away 6 negatives. Now the problem is I don't have 6 negatives to take away. I do have 4 negatives to take away, but I need to take away 6 of them. So I can potentially take away 1, I can take away 2, I can take away 3 negatives. But in order for me to take away 6 negatives, I'm missing something. So what I'm going to do is add a thing called the 0 pair. This is 0, it doesn't add anything to it, so I add 2 0 pairs. Now on this entire screen is still the value of -4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives and a 0 to 0. It's still equivalent to -4, but by doing this I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negatives to take away. My answer is +2. You can always check this by actually doing the work. Keep, change, they fight, the positive win by 2. That's why there's 2 positives right here. Model using counters here. We don't really like the x, but what are we going to do? 2 -3s would be 1 -3, and then a second -3. This is 2 groups of 3 negatives. Of course, you could do this. This is 2 groups of -3. It would be the same thing. Moving down over here to the left, it says model using counters. Start with 7 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positives. And I'm going to add 12 negatives. So how do I add 12 negatives? It's a pretty simple process. I don't put a plus sign, I just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 negatives to it. If you wanted to cancel these out, you could. You'd end up with 5 negatives left over, which is why they fight the negatives win by 5. Model using counters. Division is a little bit trickier. I start with 16 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me move this over. 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 16 negatives. I did it all in a row. You didn't have to, but I'd like to do them all in a row. If I divide it by 4, it means I'm dividing it into 4 groups. 1, 2. Now it happens to be 4 in each of them, but that's a coincidence. The answer is -4, because there's -4 in each group. Model using counters. Start with 6 negatives. First number we're going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negatives. Now it says to take away 8 negatives. I don't have 8 negatives to take away. I do have 6, but I can add some 0 pairs. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives to take away. Left with +2. Again, you could check this by doing keep, change. They fight the positive by 2. That's why there's 2 left over. Model using counters, 2 negatives. 1, 2. Add to that 7 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's -9, which is what the answer would be. 2 negatives plus 7 more negatives is -9. Moving down here. Says to write the addition problem being modeled. Now I know it's addition because it says addition. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positives. I'm going to add to that 3 negatives. It's as simple as 6 plus -3. That's it. Doesn't ask you to evaluate. Doesn't ask you to find the answer. It just says write the problem, which would be 6 plus -3. Use the number line to simplify. Just like with this one, we started with 2 negatives, and this one we started at -6. Here we're going to start at -3. So I go to 0, 1, 2, -3. It says to take away 2 negatives. If I lose negatives, I'm not going to go towards the negatives. If I lose negatives, I take away negatives, I'm going to go away from the negatives 1, 2 times. I end up at -1. Let's see if that's the right answer by actually doing the work. -3 minus -2. We don't do subtraction, we do keep, change. They fight, the negatives win by 1, which is what I wanted to do. Make sure you put an arrow so we know which direction you're going from. Dot, and then an arrow. This is kind of a funky question. It asks to write the expression that's being modeled. Looks to me like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. I got to use the key. In this case, they're negatives. So I have 4 negatives. 2 that got added two positives, when they cancel each other out, I was left with two positives. Now this is an equation, so it's not really an expression. So the expression really would just be this. 4 negatives plus 2 positives. I know it doesn't look like it, but it's because they changed the key on us. These are negatives and those are positives. Use the number line to simplify or really model what's going on. Multiplication is the only one that we don't start at the first number. Multiplication, we always start at 0. 2 negative 5s, well, I know my answer is negative 10, so there's a little hint. I'm going to finish at negative 10. But 2 negative 5s would be 1 negative 5, 2 negative 5s. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1 negative 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 negative 5. If it was 3 times negative 5, I would do another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go to there. But it wasn't 3 times negative 5 to negative 15. It was only 2 times negative 5, which is negative 10. And that's where I end up. Make sure you put an arrow on the end.